Okay, so elements of art are your basic building blocks of art. They are what you naturally use anytime you are creating art. But we're going to dive deep into each of these for our class. Today is just a quick overview. So the first one we're doing is a line, and there are 5 different types of lines. My first type is going to be vertical, so just straight up and down. Freehanding it is fine. So now that I gave you one, can you guess another? Give me a guess. Give me a guess. Yes. Yep.
Horizontal.
Very good. Horizontal is straight across. Give me another one. Diagonal. Diagonal can go in any directions, just a slanted line. And then my next two are a combination of directions. So these were all directions that the line could go in, but the line is straight. Now I'm going to combine and I'm going to have curved and zigzagged. There's a pencil sharpener at your table. Okay, next one is shape. So there are 2 types of shapes. We have geometric. Geometric shapes are shapes that you can name. So I could have a square. Give me another one. Easy one. Circle. Triangle. So if you can name it and everybody has a common name for it, it's geometric. These are man-made or mathematical shapes. They typically have straight lines, except for your circle or your oval, where it's all curved. Now we also have organic shapes. When I say the word organic, what do you think of?
Like fruit and stuff.
Yeah, organic fruit or vegetables, food, right? When we have organic food, it's just supposed to be more natural. So the word organic means nature or from nature. So I can have shapes that represent things in nature, and you might be able to name them, but there's a lot of different versions of them. So this could be the shape of a leaf, but think about leaves. Could I not draw 100 different shapes and still have it be a leaf? I could. There are that many variety of trees and bushes and flowers, right? Another organic shape might be a cloud. And we also have what is referred to as a free-form shape. That can be any curved shape. It doesn't have to represent anything.
Is a freeform a separate category?
Nope, it is part of the organic family. Next up we have color. And color we're going to do without coloring. It's going to be a little weird. So we're going to make 3 circles spaced out like a triangle. I'm actually going to connect those with a line for a triangle. These are equally spaced. And we're just doing the basics. There are more colors that we will go into when we get to this unit. And we're going to label these. So the colors need to be in a certain order so that it works like an answer key. I have yellow at the top. You can write the word or you can just put the initial like I did. We have red and we have blue. Now if you know your color mixing, you know we can mix these colors together to make new colors. So what do yellow and red give me? Orange. Put an O in there for orange. Yellow and blue give me green. And this is going to be a trick question. Red and blue give me? What is it? Violet. Very good. In art we call it violet when we start mixing. And this sort of makes an upside down triangle. So I'm going to do that with a dotted line. So my solid line that makes a triangle, those are my primary colors. My upside down triangle in the dotted line is going to be my secondary colors. When we get into this unit, we'll also work with intermediate colors. Okay, number 4 is value. Value is the lightness or darkness of a color. We're going to make 5 boxes. I want these boxes to be about the thickness of your thumb. Just sketching them out. They don't need to be perfect. What we're going to do is create a value scale. So value can be shown in lots of different ways. It can be shown through shading, which is what we're going to practice today. You can shade with pencil or colored pencil. You can also color mix to help your shading. You can also shade with paint. When you're shading with paint, you often mix it with white or with black to make it lighter or darker. For our shading technique, we're going to learn something a little bit new. So we're going to shade across all of our boxes as lightly as possible. And I know you might not even really be able to barely see that I did anything, but it is there. Now I know a lot of your elementary teachers have taught you to just add more pressure to make your values darker. That is a technique. Today we are going to be doing what is called the layering technique though. We're changing that. We're not going to use more pressure. We're going to use more layers. So I'm going to number my boxes real quick so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to skip box number 1. That is my lightest. I'm going to go across box number 2 and all the way through box number 5 with a second layer. But I'm going to switch my direction. So when I started, I went up and down. I'm now going to go horizontally, side to side, and fill in a second layer on all of my boxes. Still nice and light. Then I will skip box number 2 and I will do 3 and on. I'm going to go diagonally this time. Now skipping 3, I'm going to do my 4 and my 5. I'm going to go back to one of the directions I already did. Now it's not a magic number of layers. You might have to go back and add a little bit more, especially if you're working very lightly. What we want to see is that each box changes and gets a little bit darker. We want to avoid pressing down and just making this as dark as possible. Yes, that is a good dark, but it's not going to blend into anything very well. And the reason for shading is to make things look realistic typically. So we don't want something that stands out and doesn't look realistic. So this is called a value scale from light to dark. Okay, I think that's the last one on your left-hand side. I'm going to come around and check those real quick and see you guys how you guys are doing. Okay, next up we're moving into form. Now, form is something that either is 3D or appears 3D. So form, typically we think of something that might be a sculpture. So we might actually make something out of clay, model magic, cardboard. Those are realistic, like 3D things. However, so I've got my clay sculpture here. This would be form. However, we can do a drawing of something to make it appear like form. So form is 3D. Shape is 2D. It's flat. So I'm going to go back up to shape and add that little reminder. Shape is flat. So I've got my box of pencils here. If I were to just draw a drawing of a box of pencils and just outline the shape, I might just do the top of the box. However, this is actually 3D. So the box has sides to it. So if I include a drawing that has the sides to it, that is going to show form. Not everything has a side that has form, though. This is Henry. You'll meet Henry next week. Henry teaches us how to draw. So Henry is round. He does not have any flat sides to him. If we were going to try to draw Henry, we would need to shade him to make him look three-dimensional. Okay? So we're going to start out with a geometric form. Geometric is going to be a form we can name, just like our shapes. We're going to do a cube, but I want you to do the cube steps with me. Do not try and just draw a cube on your own, because there is a reason why we draw it this way, so that you can apply it to other drawings as well. If you would like to use a ruler, you do have rulers at your table. It is up to you. I'm going to come down away from the word form a little bit lower, and I'm just going to draw a straight line, square. Just a square. Now, this is the tricky part. We are going to draw a diagonal line from 3 of our corners. We want this diagonal line to stay pretty consistent. That means it's going to be the same direction. I'm not going to do my bottom edge right here, because if I draw a line from here, it's going to go into my square. My square is not see-through, so I'm not doing that one. So I'm going to come up with the angle that I want, and I'm going to use my ruler here to keep my same angle. I'm going to draw one diagonal line. Just watch. Just watching. I'm going to move my ruler up, trying to keep my ruler the same diagonal. Just watch. Just sliding. So I have it here. I'm just sliding. I'm trying not to change my angle. And make a third line. Now, our lines may be too short or too long. We can extend them if we need to. when we get to our second part. Okay. For our second part, we are going to recreate whatever line we have in the front. So what kind of line is this? Vertical, goes up and down. I'm going to take my ruler and line it up with that, and then I'm going to push my ruler back to try to keep that same vertical line. Now I can see I'm not just connecting, I'm trying to keep the straight vertical line. So I have made my bottom line a little extra long. I'm going to erase some of that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the top. What kind of line is that? Horizontal. I'm going to push my ruler back until it makes a corner. This corner piece is the important one. So I'm going to do from that corner back, and I can see again I made this one a little too long. I'm going to go ahead and erase that. So a vertical and a horizontal line. Okay, next we are going to do a rounded object. So we're going back to our values. We're going to do a circle here, and then we're going to shade our circle to make it appear 3D. So I'm just sketching out a circle as best I can. Does not need to be perfect. And we're going to do a basic form. So we are going to have it lightest towards the middle and darker towards my edges. Think about your layers that you created down here. We're going to start out really soft, really light, and then gradually it's going to go to my darker sides of my circle. Since my circle is round and we're trying to make it a sphere, like a ball shape, I do want to go around this shape as I'm shading it. So I'm just putting down one light layer first. Then I'm going to go back over it, change my direction just slightly, start to put on my second layer. And I'm just going to continue to build up my layers until I can see basically my 5 layers, 5 different values within my sphere. And we want this to look 3D. So if something doesn't have sides, it needs shading to show that it is 3D when we're creating the illusion. Okay, build up your values real good. Okay, next up, we have texture. Now texture, just like form, is something that can either be real, I can feel it, I can touch it, or it can be the illusion, I can draw it or paint it. So again, Henry here, when I touch Henry, I can feel his little fur that is on here, his fluff. But if I were drawing a picture of Henry, I could create the little lines to make it look like his hair. Okay? So we're going to create just the visual texture today on our sheet. I'm going to start out, I'm going to have you guys actually switch to a colored pencil. Pick out any green. And there should be 4 or 5 greens. Okay, first I'm just going to, with my green, draw some lines like little grass in a little spot right there. Now grass doesn't really look like this unless it's today with snow all over the ground. There's not white in between your grass. Okay? So while this does give us texture, it doesn't look super realistic. So with your green, I want you to color in a little square now, lightly with your green color. Don't press dark, just a light green that you create with your colored pencil. Fill that in. Okay? light shade, color it all in. Now you're going to go back with that same color and use pressure and put the lines of the grass in one more time. Now that is going to represent grass better because grass should have green everywhere for the most part and then also have the texture. So that's just a little trick to help your drawings be just that much more realistic as we move forward here. Okay, we've got one more left, but it is a big one. So you guys have a box at the bottom of your page, but it is sideways. If you see the word, that space there, I want you to turn it so that you can read the word space correctly. So you're turning your paper sideways. Okay, I'm making a little outline of basically what that sort of looks like here. So it should represent your space that you have as well. Now, space is about being able to show depth, one thing in front of the other. So if I have, let's see real quick, my marker and my colored pencil, which one is in front? The marker. Why? Why? It overlaps the pencil. How do I know it's overlapping the pencil? I can't see the whole pencil. I can see the whole marker. So that tells my brain this is in front. Now, if I'm drawing something, it's actually flat. But if I were to draw something where one thing covers another part, that is overlapping and will show me that that thing is in front. Okay? So I'm going to start down here at the very bottom of my page. I'm going to use this as the front or the foreground. The foreground is closer to us and things are larger in the foreground. So I'm going to make a circle here to represent like a soccer ball. Then we're going to do our midground. My midground, I'm going to have a line where my sky and my land come together. This is considered the horizon line where the sky and the land come together. There is not white space between your sky and your land. They do connect if you can see far enough into the distance. Now at the midground, things will start to get a little bit smaller and I'm going to push things back higher on my picture plane. So back here in the distance, I'm going to draw a little bit of a soccer net. So I'm going to create this little textured pattern here to create a soccer net. And I did make it overlapping that midline for my horizon line. If this were not a see-through object, I might want to get rid of that line where the object actually is. So there's my little soccer net. And that is at the midground. Now in the distance, that is our background. I'm going to draw a little tree. Now we want this tree to be kind of small. Don't make your tree too big. Put a few branches on it, or you can make it be a nice sunny day instead of our cold weather we're having right now. Now notice my soccer ball is almost the same size as my tree. Why is that? What do you think? Yes, my soccer ball is closer. If objects are closer to you, they do appear bigger. Okay? So look outside at our trees that we can see in the window. Notice the trees that are up close to us. If I think about using my window as a measurement, I can't see the bottom of the tree and I can see the top goes all the way to the top panel of my window. Do you guys see that? I can make out some of the branches in these close-up trees. These trees look really big. But look out past the dirt pile out there from the construction. Do you see those trees in the distance way back there? Look how teeny tiny those trees are. Okay, they're like maybe only half of one of the squares of the panel of the window. So this is actually how our eyes see things. So if we draw it the way we see it, it helps create that illusion of space. Okay, this was our space.